we all know that freedom of speech means that people say things which are quite offensive. And we've had examples of this. Obviously, people make racist remarks and sexist remarks and so on. This could be part of the ordinary banter of friendly conversation, but there's always a line over which it shouldn't step. Then, of course, when people overstep that line, have they committed a crime or not? Modern courts and modern commentators are increasingly worried about this because, of course, in an egalitarian society, you don't actually know whether you have been insulted or not. Just to point out that you're an ordinary example of the human species is, to me, an insult, but I keep quiet about it. But anything that can be said can be taken as an insult. Who is to determine who is insulting whom? And when should that be a crime, if at all? Obviously, the common law has dealt with this over centuries. Sedition has always been a crime, a common law crime. And so is incitement to violence. And John Stuart Mill, in his famous book on liberty, makes a clear exception for those sort of things. Saying something which is actually intended to incite people to murder or whatever has always been a crime in English law. But things that you say can have bad consequences, even if you don't intend them. I can say, I wonder whether Muhammad was really inspired or really given words directly from the Almighty, and that might produce a riot, regardless of my intention simply to open an interesting topic of discussion. But it's not my fault, and yet, of course, as we know, there's an extraordinary ability of people to take offence when it suits them. And to indicate that this offence has occurred, even before they've fully felt it. Being offended is a dramatic capacity of human beings. It's a histrionic ability. That's to say that if you begin by pretending you're offended, then you see you've got the response, then you feel you are really offended, and eventually you've worked yourself up into a state of anger which you cannot yourself control. That's your problem, of course. But in the modern world, the well-meaning liberals wish to make it the problem of the person who first started this process going. So we have a lot of people coming to courts, especially in America, saying that they felt offended or insulted as a woman, as a gay, as a Muslim, and so on, by this or that pronouncement, and that the person concerned should be either forced to pay a fine or in some way criminalized. And that, I think, is one of the issues which is becoming more and more serious, because although it may not lead to legislative pronouncements like your Section 18C, it is still there, active in the imagination of the courts and active in the imagination of the journalists who report on things, and also active in the imagination and the fears of ordinary people. People begin to censor themselves. Self-censorship is now a very important feature of our public discourse in the West, not only in newspapers, but also, of course, in universities and so on. And this is amplified, again, from the left by the invention of a most extraordinary concept, the concept of the phobia.